Hannah here with Delta Faucet. Today I'm going to show you how to install Delta Faucet's Neo-Angle Corner Shower Unit. This corner shower unit is a 3-part set that includes the base, the wall set, and the enclosure. I do have another video that will walk you through how to prepare for a corner shower installation if you have questions about prepping your space or which components are compatible with one another, because this does matter. Be sure to check that out and come back when you're ready to start the project. It isn't a terribly difficult install, but if at any point you feel a step is beyond your abilities, then I recommend contacting a professional for help. Let's talk about curing time. There are some steps along the way where you'll use adhesive, caulk, or sealant. Using these properly is important, so don't rush through those sections. Be sure to allow ample time for curing based on the manufacturer's recommendation. Check your installation guide for recommended sealants and adhesives. One last thing before we start. You're going to need finished drywall behind your wall set, so make sure that that drywall is moisture resistant. It's important to prevent issues down the road. For this install, you're going to need the following tools. You may need some mortar for a mortar bed, gloves, a 1/4-inch square notch trowel, a drill, safety glasses, a caulk gun, level, a Carpenters Square. You may need some shims, a drop cloth, 2 tubes of sealant, adhesive, and you're going to need a fair amount for this project, extension bit holder, 3/16" drill bit, number 8 by 1.5" zinc or stainless pan head or round head screws, a driver bit, a tape measure, and a pencil. Okay, so grab those tools and let's get to it. Here we are in our bathroom where we're going to install our shower base. I want to make a quick note about our stud layout. If you're installing a wall set or a shower enclosure down the road, like we are, you want to make sure that your stud layout is according to those manufacturer's instructions. All right, now we're going to check to make sure our opening is square, level, and plumb. To do that, I'm going to grab our long level, take it down to the subfloor, place it along the front of our shower base where it's going to go. Make sure that's level. Then bring it to the side. Make sure that's level. Perfect. Now we're going to bring it up to our vertical studs, placing the level tight up against the stud, making sure that's plumb. And you're going to do it on each one of these studs. Now we're going to check to make sure that we're square. So you're going to grab your Carpenters Square. Now what we're looking for here is making sure there's no gaps between your square and your framing. All right, mine looks good. Now, if you need to make adjustments at home, now is the time to do it. It'll make the install of your wall set or your shower enclosure a lot easier. All right, now we're ready to move on to dry fitting our shower base. I've got my shower base here. I'm just gonna give it a quick look to make sure that there's no damage to it or any debris on it that could make it sit uneven. So I'm just gonna give it a quick look on the front, quick look on the back, that looks good. Now, if you have a model that requires apron retainers, this is when you would check to make sure that they're in the correct position. All right, now I'm gonna dry fit it in place. All right, now we're gonna push our shower base into the corner, making sure that it's tight on all sides. All right, now we're gonna make sure it's level on each side against the wall. So this side, that side, and along the front. All right, that looks good. If yours at home isn't level, you'll apply a mortar bed in the next step. All right. Next, we're going to take a pencil, and we're going to be drilling pilot holes into our flange here. So I need to mark the location of each one of our vertical studs. Just going to take a pencil, make a mark here, do that along each one. Now I'm also going to trace the outline of our shower base, use that as a guide when I'm applying the adhesive. All right, now I'm also gonna mark the location of our drain. Okay, now I'm gonna pull our shower base away from the wall so we can drill our pilot holes. All right, you'll notice that I've pulled my shower base away from the wall, and that's to make sure that I don't drill into my vertical studs here when I'm drilling my pilot holes. I have a 3/16" drill bit here and a drill bit extender. You want to make sure you have that extender so you don't damage the surface of your shower base when drilling your pilot holes. You also want to make sure that your pilot holes are in the center of the flange, making sure you're not too close to the top and not too close to the bottom. All right, we're going to drill our pilot holes and then we'll be ready to move on to the next step. All right, we've got all of our pilot holes drilled, and now it's time to install the drain in our base and bring our rough plumbing up to speed. You want to follow the manufacturer's instructions on how to install your drain, but one thing we do caution against is using plumber's putty because it could end up cracking your base. All right, so go ahead and get that drain installed and bring your rough plumbing up to speed, and we'll be ready to move on to the next step. So we've got the drain installed in our shower base, and I've brought our rough plumbing up to speed. I've made sure that this pipe is centered directly below our shower base drain and is also the correct height off the subfloor. All right, so now we're gonna move on to adhering our shower base to our subfloor. Now, if you remember, mine is already level, but if yours at home is out of level, this is where you would apply that mortar bed. All right, so we're gonna take our adhesive and we're just gonna apply an even coat all along the subfloor, staying inside this guideline that we drew earlier. And before I drop our base into place, I'm gonna peel off this protective plastic. All right, so let's go ahead and get our adhesive down. We've got our adhesive down and all spread out, so now it's time to set our base. Now we wanna make sure that we don't slide it into place, we wanna make sure that we set it straight down. So if that's easier for you to do with 2 people, go ahead and grab someone to help. All right, so we've got our base set down on our adhesive, and I'm just gonna check one last time to make sure that we're still level. So I'm gonna check all the places we did before, along each wall and along the front. All right, since I use adhesive, I'm ready to move on to the next step of screwing it into place. But if you used a mortar bed, you'll need to wait 24 hours to let that set up completely. All right, we're gonna use 1.5 inch long pan head screws to secure our shower base to our wall. Now you wanna make sure that these are pan head so you don't cause any undue stress on your flange when screwing it into the wall. All right, I've also got my drill bit extender again just to make sure that I don't damage my shower base when screwing in my screws. The last thing I'm gonna do is do a visual inspection of our shower base and our walls, making sure that there's no gap bigger than about 1/8 of an inch. If there is, you'll need to use a wood shim or a composite shim to close that gap. All right, let's go ahead and secure our base to our walls. All right, we've got our base secured to our walls. One last thing I want to mention is after you get your finished floors installed, you want to go back and add a bead of sealant between your finished floor and your shower base right along the edge of the base here to create a watertight seal. If you have any questions, reach out to Delta Faucet's customer service. They're happy to help.